Great. Okay. Fight for it, Bobby. Pretty good. Good. I have the copy here in front of me. Will Sterling Marlin be the first man ever to three-peat the race? Will Dale Earnhardt finally win his first Daytona 500? Will the comeback from a near-death experience continue for Ernie Irvan? Or will some surprises emerge from back in the pack to win the Super Bowl of motorsports, the great American race, the Daytona 500? Tomorrow will tell. Okay. That's what they handed me. Thank you.
Let me hear you say that about, I need to see something. That near-death experience, that sounded...
All right, I got two different things here.
Will the comeback to the near-death experience?
Tomorrow live, this one says Gina Daytona 500 promo for Saturday basketball.
This is Gatorade.
This is for Saturday basketball that I have here in front of me. Ken Squire back in Daytona. Who will be in victory lane for tomorrow's 500? Okay, this needs some punctuation. This is Ken Squire back in Daytona, period. Who will be in victory lane in tomorrow's 500, right? No. At victory lane in tomorrow's 500. Will Sterling Marlin be the first man ever to three-peat? The 500. No, three-peat.
That thing on Ernie Irvan needs to be fixed. It sounds like he's going to continue to die.
No, it says he's coming back from a near-fatal crash. Will the comeback from a near-fatal crash continue for Ernie Irvan? In other words, will he win it?
That's not what it sounds like. It sounds like, will it continue on the near-death experience?
Will the comeback, comma, from a from a near-fatal crash? I think if I put the punctuation in, I can make it work.
You're on anyway. You lose all those friends that you had this first 46 laps.
John Andretti fast enough? Back to you, Ken.
John Andretti, a dark horse, to do what his uncle did down here, what Tiny Lund did, Derek Cope, Sterling Marlin, win the 500 in their very first time out as a winner in Winston Cup racing. Let's take a look at how the field is put together for the Sunday 500. Two fastest qualifiers from that pole position qualifying day. They make it into the field. And then these...
We're done for...
I see. Okay, fine.
We at Gatorade are proud of our long-standing relationship with NASCAR through the sponsorship of the Gatorade 125. The fans of NASCAR continue to be the most loyal in all of sport, and we at Gatorade are proud to bring this exciting event to you.
If you're going to run with the big dogs, there's only one place to be.
Going back to Daytona to hear those engines scream. I'm going back to Daytona to hear those engines scream. I can still hear the thunder of the stock car race. Cheers for the driver in first place. The harbor are making that rolling sound. You can feel it thundering all over town. Going back to Daytona, going back to a dream.
The world's center of speed, Daytona International Speedway, getting ready for its biggest weekend, getting ready for the sport's biggest weekend, the Daytona 500. Hello, everybody. I'm Ken Squire, and it's 24 hours and counting to the commencement of the 38th annual Daytona 500. And on this program with CBS, we're going to be showing you how the field was composed. The Gatorade 125s from this...
He's not...
In the girls' room.
Like we...
They were very helpful.
One of them is... He's in on top.
They stopped. We saw seagulls surrounding them, which meant to us that they were feeding.
They had been basically starving to death in the lake.
Eventually they broke out into the ocean, and I've never seen them move so fast. These guys took off, porpoised, swam very fast, swam.
And it tastes.
That certainly is a big story this weekend, but equally big.
Seven Busch Series regulars starting up front, and of those 7, 5 have never won a race. Who could it be today? Could it be a Busch Series regular? Maybe a first-time winner? Take a look. Back in row 4 on the outside, Randy LaJoie. He has finished second twice on the speedways, still looking for his first victory. How about inside of him, starting in 7th spot? Vermont's Kevin LePage came here with no sponsor on the card. Great qualifying effort. Moving up the grid in the top 10, Tracy Leslie. His only win came 3 years ago on the short track at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Mike McLaughlin starts 3rd, and he has 1 win. That's at Dover, Delaware. But up front on the pole with a qualifying effort, even faster than Dale Earnhardt's pole winning speed for the 500, is Jeff Purvis. Purvis has never won a Busch Series event. And remember last Sunday when he won the ARCA 200, he climbed out of the car and dedicated that victory to the memory of Neil Bonnet. And look today on his dashboard, he carries the spirit of Neil Bonnet with him once again. But there's more on some drivers' minds than just winning. With more on that, here's Bill Weber.
Here's one car that's very familiar with the front of the field, the number 3 Goodwrench Chevrolet Monte Carlo driven by Jeff Green. In fact, in first round qualifying, he was 5th fastest. But when he came back from that qualifying run, his spoiler measured 42 degrees, below the minimum of 45 mandated by NASCAR. His time was disallowed. Jeff went in second round qualifying. He'll start 27th. Now, Dr. Punch talked about Chad Little. Last year, last to first. This year, Chad starts 30th, his best starting position here in 3 years. He has a new car in a Pontiac, a new sponsor, and as of this morning, a new motor. His 4th motor in 6 days. And talk about teams that have had trouble. Well, way back there near the rear of the field, you will find Dennis Setzer, a talented 2-time winner in the Busch Series. Now, this year, he drives for Aiken Sutton Motorsports, the team that finished 9th in Busch points 1 year ago. But it has been a frustrating week for that team. They had to take a provisional. Dennis Setzer starts 43rd. Race drivers come to race tracks to win races. But here in Daytona for the Busch Series, because of the expense and expertise it takes to be successful, many teams will take a top 20 finish, take their points, and take their car home in one piece. Now let's go up top to Benny Parsons and Kyle Petty.
Jerry Punch mentioned the 13 Winston Cup drivers that will start the Daytona 500 tomorrow in this field. Here's a Winston Cup driver. Why aren't you down there sitting in the booth with us?
I guess, Benny, because when I mess up here, it doesn't hurt as bad when y'all slam me as it does when I run into these walls head on out here.
Do Winston Cup drivers view this as a dangerous race?
I don't think they view it as a dangerous race. I think they view it, you know, as a race that they can go out and get some laps in early in the season. But can it be a dangerous race? It can in some aspects. I think the last couple of laps of last year's race, when they all piled up coming out of 4 here, there were some sore drivers Monday or Sunday morning getting ready to go into the 500.
Can the drivers learn anything today that will help them win the Daytona 500?
I think so more now in the last couple of years than they ever could before, especially since we've gone to the 9-to-1, to the V8s again, to the weight being close to the same. The wheelbases are a little same, but you'll notice the Pontiac, the Ford, and the Chevy are the same body style. So, yes, I think they learn just a little bit. Whether it gives them an advantage, I don't think so on Sunday, but they learn a little bit anyhow.
All right, Bob, we can slam Kyle right in the wall if we want to. It won't hurt as bad as a race car, but he will say we can slam him in the wall.
Okay, well, the 46 cars that are going to race today have been started. And in just a moment, we'll come back for the green flag for 300 miles, 120 laps of racing at Daytona. You got it. Yeah.
Kyle, you got something to write on? Here we go. Here's the end cars.
Okay. 1-9-11. All right. Okay.
All right. It's all right.
department store.
That's like a dime store. People's is like a dime store. Yeah. Well, I didn't figure a young guy like you would know what I was talking about.
From the east.
Yeah, he's from
Come on, Dennis. Mikey, don't talk any more than you have to.
Who is that?
I don't know.
He probably is not in the mood for a human
No,
today.
I don't think so.
No, okay.
We don't want you to come up here to give us your germs.
That's right. Stay away from me.
Who stopped there on the back stretch?
Kevin LePage appears to be.
Not anymore. No, it's Leslie. There's your first mistake.
Oh well.
That's their our new deal in the drivers' meeting was if you have to change your steering wheel location, stop in the middle of the backstretch. Don't stop over here on pit road, and don't stop anywhere but on the backstretch to move your steering wheel.
Really?
That's what they told us. That's their new thing. If you stop over here, they said there could be ramifications later. I don't know why. They want it to look everybody to pull off, no matter where your steering wheel is, whether it's in your lap. They want you to pull off, and it to look good. They figure nobody can see you over there. They forgot about TV.
Kyle, just watch the race for a little bit. Don't worry about the numbers, you know. You'll get a feel for it as we go. And you see something that, you know, just jump in anytime.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That was much better said than you did it, Benny.
I'm sorry. Well, I just
stupid monitor.
I have no sense of the dramatic. That's the
no flair.
I have no flair. That's right. Plenty glare. I got glare. Yeah, we got the glare. Oh, Kyle's coming.
Yeah, baby, don't worry about it. I've got a tattoo right across the top of my head, and when my hair recedes that far, I'm going to shave my head. So I'm going from one extreme to the other.
That would be so
be
Kyle with a
shaved head.
From one extreme all the way to the other.
But you need a beard with the reverse sideburns.
Yeah,
I love that. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
ESPN Speed World coverage of the Goodies 300 from Daytona International Speedway being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Dynomax Performance Exhaust Systems, engineered by Walker. And by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. Field is in turn number 4, set to take the green flag next time around. Let's take a look at the Suzuki starting grid with the pole sitter Jeff Purvis, faster than Dale Earnhardt's Winston Cup effort. Joe Nemechek, who won the pole for the most recent Busch Grand National race in Homestead last year, outside of row number 1. Second row consists of Mike McLaughlin from Waterloo, New York, car number 34, and Steve Grissom in car number 29. The third row, Tracy Leslie. Car number 11 and 43, Rodney Combs. Kevin LePage starts in 7th position alongside Randy LaJoy. Starting 9th and 10th will be Larry Pearson and Pete Orr. 11th and 12th, Hut Strickland and Jason Keller. Phil Parsons and Todd Bodine make up row number 7. In the 8th row, it's Jim Bound and Dale Jarrett. Bobby Labonte and Joe Bessie go from row number 9. In the 10th row, it's Curtis Markham and Derek Cope. Row number 11 will be Lonnie Rush and Terry Labonte. And as you take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, BP, tell us about all of our in-car cameras that we have today. We've got a total of 7 to complement our coverage.
That was Hermie Sadler we just saw, the Peebles department store. This is Jimmy Spencer, the Wagner Brakes camera. This is from the roof of his car number 20. And there's the field getting ganged up, ready for a start. We see the light is out atop the pace car. We'll see green the next time by.
30 Chevys, 12 Fords, and 4 Pontiacs are set to do battle on a very cool afternoon in Central Florida. The temperature isn't expected to reach 60 here today. However, for tomorrow's Daytona 500, a warming trend is supposed to settle in and a beautiful 65-degree day for the 500. A big crowd on hand here for this one, despite the cool weather. This always is one of the best races that we see in the Busch Grand National Series. Look at the crowd there. Wow. 120 laps of competition. The race record is held by Darrell Waltrip, set in 1978. The pole speed, as you saw earlier, 189.7. They'll have to pit for fuel at least by lap number 50 and 55.
As a matter of fact, Dennis Setzer, who's starting at the tail end of the pack, stopped on the first parade lap and topped his tank off just to make sure that he could run that extra lap in case he needed to.
Beautiful overhead shot as the cars come off of the 4th corner, and now the pace car turns on to pit road. We are set to go racing in the Goody's 300 at Daytona. The green flag is out. Here we go.
Bobby Labonte 3 wide on the inside, trying to make a move. What a great start, Kyle.
It was a great start. Nobody jumped and got wild. Nobody got crazy. Everybody just kind of stayed in their lines. They'll get sorted out here in the next few laps, but it's a good, clean start.
Now Purvis inches ahead as Steve Grissom comes underneath Joe Nemechek to take second.
Wow, and Grissom just moved up in front of Nemechek.
Lap 1 complete. It's Purvis, then Grissom, then McLaughlin, the first 3, and then side-by-side racing for 4th into 1.
This is Hutch Strickland's car looking at the back bumper. That's Jason Keller, the red and yellow 57. And that's Dale Jarrett's Band-Aid car. And there's the roof, the roof camera on Dale Jarrett's car. Driver change. Bill Weber.
Darrell Sage climbing into the 16 car. It was started by Chuck Bound. They got into this race because Bound did qualify the car in second round. His speed wasn't fast enough, so they used a past champions provisional. Chuck Bound gets out. Darrell Sage gets back in. He plans to use the rest of this race as a test session as Purvis leads the field back to the line.
First 3 drivers in a draft pulling away from everybody else because they're racing side by side behind them.
The 98 car of Jeremy Mayfield started 32nd. Observers already indicate he's losing oil on the racetrack.
Now Nemechek breaks away from this side-by-side battling, and Dale Jarrett makes it 3 wide down the backstretch.
There goes Kevin LePage in the black and gold 71. That's Tracy Leslie in the green. Oh, and they make some contact. Oh, and they're on the apron over there.
Oh, and some heads-up driving by a lot of people as some had to stand on the brakes. But a big crash was avoided. They're black flagging Jeremy Mayfield.
Kyle, they had a wreck over there and didn't hit anything. How do you do that?
I don't have a clue. There's some damage to the 11 car as you see them as they go in here. These guys, there's no way they should have made it through this corner. Once they got to that point right there, they're all in trouble.
That's Michael Waltrip, the MW Windows car, the 12 on the apron of the racetrack, and he did not spin out.
He got hit by Joe Bessie in car number 12, and everybody hung on. Unbelievable. Here's Joe Bessie's in-car camera.
That goes Labonte car, Terry Labonte in 5.
Michael Waltrip is in 12. We understand that Randy LaJoie may have a flat tire. Maybe bringing the car toward the pits.
He didn't pit this time.
Here comes Mayfield, though, answering the black flag. They want to check for fluid coming from that car. Bill, what's going on?
The crew didn't seem to know. Jeremy Mayfield has brought the car to pit road. Now he has shut it off. They're going to go under the hood. The NASCAR inspectors looking under the car from the rear and from the side. So it's a possible oil tank leak is what they're hypothesizing now. So they're working on that, and then they'll send Jeremy back out.
Meanwhile, on the racetrack, it's still 3 wide some places.
Dale Jarrett in that Band-Aid car trying to get to the front. There's a 20 car. That's Jimmy Spencer, and he is moving up. But look at this group of cars. He moves down right in the front of Curtis Markham. Kyle, I don't blame you. I think it's much safer up here.
It's a lot safer. After watching these first few laps, if this goes like this all day long, it's going to be a lot safer up here.
There's Derek Cope in the 26 car, the blue one, ahead and passing by the 51 of Jim Bound. There's Pete Orr moving up on the outside.
Larry Pearson in the 92 car, the Stanley car. Trying to get by Tracy Leslie. Tracy qualified about 5th.
Jerry has an update on Randy LaJoie. We speculate he may have a flat tire, Jerry.
Bob, that's what happened a moment ago. Randy radioed his crew chief, Steve Bird, and said, left rear, left rear, left rear. He said, stay out. We'll look at it as it comes by. He came by. I thought he had a little bit of a vibration and then a tire going down, but apparently he came by that time. Must have been some debris or something on the tire. It has since gone away, so he stayed on the racetrack and has not made the unscheduled stop.
Steve Grissom in the World Championship Wrestling Chevrolet has wrestled the lead away from Jeff Purvis as we complete lap number 7. That's McLaughlin running 3rd and Joe Nemechek 4th as those 4 cars are by themselves. Here's how the pass for the lead occurred.
Going in turn 3, this seems to be the favorite place to pass, Kyle.
You get so much of a draft, especially if you're pulling a little bit lower gear than some of these other guys. There's so much of a place to pass right there. You suck up, you get a little help, you go right past them.
And now McLaughlin takes 2nd place from Jeff Purvis in the same portion of the racetrack at the end of the backstretch.
Purvis's car may be a little loose getting in that corner. A lot of times if your car's a little bit loose, you'll check up and let the car get into the corner, settle down on the springs and shocks, and then ease back into it wide open. Obviously, he's fast enough down the straightaways to hang with him, but if you notice, they'll pull him a little bit getting into the corners.
Purvis looking to the inside, thinking about trying to go for 2nd, but he settles back in line. We'll be back with more at the Goody's 300 in a moment.
Pete Orr saying, what in the world did I get into? Well, that 2nd group catch?
I guess so. All right, we'll see if he is accurate. Now we got 9 cars up there, right?
Yeah. Where's that water coming from on the wings?
Can't
Yeah.
Somebody's spitting water.
Well, Kevin LePage ain't doing too shabby, is he?
No.
Running about 4th right now.
Somebody, what I was pointing, somebody got in the back of the 11. See, his quarter panel is shoved way up.
Pushed up, I see.
It's all pushed out, and they just started sucking by him like he had a parachute. I think that's HUD, isn't it? No.
Tracy Leslie.
Tracy Leslie. Yeah. I mean, he was up in there 5th or 6th, and it just jammed back. It happened when they all got to crash over there.
Okay.
I love doing a race like this.
Oh, me too.
Yep, you're right. Welcome back to ESPN Speed World's coverage of the Goody's 300 at Daytona. We have a new leader, and what was a 4-car battle for the lead has turned into a 9-car battle for the lead as the second group has caught the first. And the new leader is Mike McLaughlin in car number 34, who got the lead away from Steve Grissom, and this is how he did it.
In the trial, ducked on the inside of Grissom. 4 cars lined up behind him, and poor Grissom had nothing to do except let him go. That's Rodney Combs in the 43, the Lance car, Jeff Purvis, the pole sitter, and Kevin LePage.
So it's those 4 cars now that are running together. Grissom back to 5th, as you see the top 10 there on our scoring pylon in the upper left portion of your screen. There's Nemechek running to the outside of the 28 car of Hut Strickland.
Dale Jarrett in the Band-Aid, the 32 car. That's the on top of Dale Jarrett's car. Trying to close in, trying to get hooked back up with that lead draft.
Dale out for a Saturday afternoon run at Daytona. Started 16th, has moved all the way up to 7th.
Jeremy Mayfield hit it. They looked under the hood of his car, and he is back on the track. So evidently they have fixed the oiling problem. There's a Royal Oak car, the leader. Now they're fanning out behind them. 3 of them going abreast. Poor old Mike doesn't have much choice.
And it looks like we're going to have yet another leader as Rodney Combs goes to the front in the Richard Petty car. That's Purvis sliding down the backstretch, and he's going to slide to the grass.
This is unbelievable, Kyle.
It's unbelievable that no more cars got involved in that, and then nobody's tore up any worse than they were.
The caution is coming out, however.
There is some damage to the right front fender. We can see where the fender is bulged up with the hood, so there is, and we can see where the fender is rubbing the tire on Purvis's car. Tough break for our pole sitter.
But a lucky break for those drivers that were behind him, because there was no other car involved in the incident. Look at what happened here. That's McLaughlin in 34 behind Purvis.
And Kyle, one of those situations, you just try to go up the hill, but McLaughlin's car was there.
Yeah, there was no place. When they came up off the corner, you don't know if Purvis's car got a little bit loose or what happened to him, but as he comes up, he just barely, he needs 6 more inches to get in line, and that 6 more inches is the hood of McLaughlin's car.
And the window is out the right side of the car. That might be a problem for Purvis if they don't have a spare.
The window popped out, the roof flap popped up, and there's the contact with the ball. Pretty significant, really.
Yeah, he hit it pretty doggone good. And there's the window blowing out.
Yep. But luckily the car slid to the infield and there was space enough behind that nobody else became involved. Now from the blimp.
Or there were guys coming by. They did a great job.
Where to go.
Oh yeah. There is no place to go when you get there.
Yeah.
Let's look from Randy LaJoie's in-car camera at Purvis and see how close that LaJoie was through the accident.
He picked up a couple of positions because
he just flew right by McLaughlin. We see Purvis in the pits.
Hear him screaming for a right window.
Purvis is going a lap down. The pace car goes by and puts the 4-car a lap down.
And the work is furious in Jeff Purvis's pit, trying to get him back out there after our first caution here at Daytona. Okay. Hello, folks in Thunder Bay, Ontario, where the temperature, we understand, is 1 degree below zero with 5 feet of snow and drifts up to 25 feet in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Guys, I at least have been there and I sympathize with you.
I have never been there, and guess what?
Well, that is 25 feet of drifts.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm understand that Spencer's Bar and Grill in Detroit is watching on the satellite. So hello to everyone and they've taken the window. I guess they're changing the ignition boxes in the 23 car.
Is that Jimmy Spencer's Bar and Grill in Detroit?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, too bad.
His would be in Pennsylvania someplace.
Okay.
I was afraid that Purvis was going to come up the hill there.
Mike did a good job of keeping it out of the wall.
He did, didn't he?
I mean, he just held his line, held it straight, and let Purvis come back across his hood.
Okay. Oh boy, everybody's a comedian. Try to be. Yeah. Mikey, don't talk unless you have to. No, not really. Right. Yeah, really. Get the Lysol in there.
And I need Chuck Bound.
I don't blame him.
Both the Cracker Barrel cars in the pits.
He's the one that had left rear damage. They were working on it earlier. Ooh.
All right. Jeremy's. It's nothing more than we should have been able to do. I got it.
Stop.
It wasn't working earlier today, and it still isn't. Thank you. 17 laps have been completed in the Goody's 300 at Daytona International Speedway. We are under our first caution of the race, and this is what happened down the backstretch.
That's Purvis in the red car and McLaughlin in the red and yellow car. And Purvis into the wall with the right front. As the car comes around, the air goes in the driver's door. Watch as the window flies out the right side of the car. There it is. That is the window out the right side of the car. And NASCAR mandates that you must have that window in the car before you can run on this speedway.
Purvis was the only car involved in the incident. So let's examine the window situation closer now as we present an ESPN Track Pack brought to you by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. Here's Jerry Punch.
3 years ago, NASCAR mandated that cars on super speedways have right side windows to try to prevent air from getting inside the car when it would spin sideways, thus producing a lift situation for the car. The right side windows, in conjunction with the fender skirts and the roof flaps, now have been able to keep the cars on the ground. Now here at Daytona, teams watched the ARCA race last Sunday and saw one driver, Shane Doles, who didn't have a spare window. And that's why many of them have done this. They have gone and bought a piece of plexiglass. I'm in the Jeff Green pit, and simply just cut it out in the shape of a spare right side window. This is the one that Jeff Green would use if he would need it, if his right side window would come out. They would have to pop rivet it in. Now, NASCAR will not allow you to tape it in place because they feel like the tape will blow away and the window will come out. But they will pop rivet in place. This right side window may not look like much, but closing off that air ventilation hole can keep the car on the ground. Bob?
And we saw the right side window there on Randy LaJoie's car. Our in-car camera showing us that, and there's Tracy Leslie's.
The one thing about when they do put the side window back in it, NASCAR does allow them to pop rivet it in, but they're only allowed to use a certain number of pop rivets because in case of an accident, like we saw in the flip down here in the ARCA race, sometimes that is an exit route out of the car. If the window is pop riveted in solid and the driver can't get out, it becomes more of a safety hazard.
We are about to go green once again. And leading them down is Rodney Combs, who led 5 laps in last year's Goody's race. That were the only laps that he led all year. His best finish was a 6th at Atlanta and a 6th at Myrtle Beach. He has the lead of the Goody's 300 at the moment with 4 cars, 3 cars lined up behind him.
That's Jeremy Mayfield in the black number 98 that has spent several laps in the pits. He's 7 laps down currently. They're all getting lined up. About 25 cars in the lead draft.
Chad Little made a pit stop in the 23 car. He had an ignition problem. He went from last to first. Wasn't an ignition problem down there, Jerry?
A combination of problems, Bob. One was the ignition. The other was the fact that the water temperature was not coming up in the car. It was staying about 160 degrees, and the car would just lay down and not run. So they came in, put a little tape over the front of the car, and also checked the ignition.
So he's making a bonsai move through the field again like he did last year.
That's Johnny Rumney in the 25 that Chad Little just went by. That's Chad Little in the green and yellow car. And I tell you, Chad Little's car is not up to speed. Terry Labonte back in the fight. Labonte, 11. Tracy Leslie, all these cars made a pit stop on the caution flag.
And there's Jeff Purvis trying to catch back up. He lost 1 lap during that incident. Several other cars made pit stops. Tracy Leslie in number 11, and also Pete Orr came in for a pit stop during the caution.
There's McLaughlin and Dale Jarrett side by side. And look at Michael Waltrip on the inside trying to make it 3 abreast. And that's Mark Martin in the Winn-Dixie car following Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, we hadn't said much about Mark Martin. He's always a factor in any Busch race he's in. He started 28th, and there he is in 9th, 10th, 11th, right there following Michael Waltrip and pushing him up through the field.
Bill Weber updates the Jeff Purvis story.
With Johnny Allen calling the shots down here, how's your car, Johnny?
It's got a pretty good bit of body damage on the right front, but, you know, he said it's all right now. It's not, you know, we got the fender off the tire. He said it ain't driving bad right there, and we'll just need some body work done back on it so we can get back up there and try to gain a lap back.
Oh, trouble!
Jason Keller
Todd Bodine, that's Todd in the blue car.
Scramble underway.
More cars.
Oh! Car almost turning over was Doug Hebron. A big scramble is on to try to avoid many cars coming down pit road, some of them near full speed. Joe Bessie is involved, Kevin LePage. That's a big crash.
That's LePage there in the black and gold 71.
LePage took a big hit in the inside wall there.
Jason Keller, we see him moving around in the 57. There's Andy Hillenberg, the AC Delco car. He's also involved. The right front's pointing south. There's Hebron getting out.
Hebron almost flipped over, as we'll see on the replay. But he's okay, obviously.
Jason Keller, I see him moving around in the car.
Yeah.
I guess he's not going to move until the... Man, that car... Well, let's see if they can win that down.
Boy, the front end of that car is gone, isn't it?
And the side.
Yeah.
And the back. What's good about it? Nothing much.
LePage has climbed out of his car. That's good news. Here it is again.
He's the car in the middle is Jason Keller, the 57. And Kyle, they take the air off his spoiler, don't they?
The worst place in the world to be on this racetrack is in the center coming out of this corner. It's not as bad over out of 2, but the car just gets sideways coming off. He runs into Michael, then back into the outside wall. He takes a heavy hit there. You see LePage go out. He takes another hit right here. Jason does right in the front. And if you watch him, he spins and spins, and he's sitting there, and he'll take one more big hit before it's all over with. And it kind of reminds me of when my father wrecked here.
That's Hebron.
There's Hebron up on his side that comes through. And, I mean, there's nothing you can do at that point. There's nothing these guys can do sitting in the car. They're just waiting to get hit time after time. And the guys that are coming in, there's stuff on the racetrack. They're cutting tires. Things are happening. There's not a lot you can do.
Pit road becomes the racetrack. They are detouring all the traffic down pit road to assist with the cleanup. Here it is again.
And Michael Waltrip was blessed in the MW Windows car that the no contact was made. And we see LePage heading for the inside wall. And there's Todd Bodine, some heavy contact. Bodine's first race for this brand new team. And here's Hebron.
Oh,
man. Hermie Sadler goes under. It looked like he went under Hebron's car.
And there's Andy Hillenberg taking a final shot.
Man, oh man. Here, let's see if...
Whiz, that's Hermie Sadler. What a frightening sight.
Great camera shot.
Yeah, really. Jason Keller's race is over. He's okay.
This has looked like a better deal all the time, isn't it, Kyle?
I feel a lot better right now sitting right here.
Man, look at the damage on that right
Here's Jerry Punch.
Steve Addington is Jason Keller's crew chief. And Steve, what did Jason tell you happened out there?
He was just riding along there, biding his time. He'd got back up in the lead draft and said Michael ran up under him and took the air off of him and just turned sideways on him.
So no air on the rear spoiler, and it's hard to control.
Yeah, it's bad, especially it's windy out there today too, and he's just trying to stay there in the lead pack to the end of the race for this championship. But we'll be back next week at Rockingham with Slim Jim Chevrolet.
That's Steve Addington, the crew chief for Jason Keller. By the way, Jason said he's okay, but obviously, Kyle, with no air on that rear spoiler, it's hard to keep the car going straight.
Obviously. The 71 car of LePage being loaded onto the rollback. This is Joe Bessie's in-car camera, Benny.
Yes, he sees the smoke, he backs off. Someone runs in the back of Bessie is why he spun out. But he keeps the engine running.
Now, here's the dramatic shot from Hermie Sadler. Wow, and there is Hermie. He's okay, and the cleanup is on here at Daytona after a massive crash off of turn number 4. We'll be right back. Come on, a little bit more enthusiasm than that.
6 cars involved, huh?
That was okay.
Well, there's only 6 numbers. What number is that? Oh, 1. Okay, 7 cars involved, according to
the unofficial statistics from.
We have the 1, the 9.
Thank you. Good point.
The 1, the 9, the 52, 57, 71, 75, and 81. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. Wow.
$11, $12, $13, $14. $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. We're here with Jason Keller. Jason Keller's just come out of the Infield Medical Center. You're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, it's just a shame that it had to happen that early. You know, it's just I like to say that's racing, but that's the Cup guys racing in the Busch Series. It sometimes happens like that. And
what happened, Jason?
A couple of Cup guys stuck by me down the back straightaway. We're running side by side, and I guess they don't take it near as cautious as we do. And it's a shame because I thought one of those Cup guys were a real good buddy of mine, but I guess you don't have any buddies on a racetrack.
Jason Keller, he's okay, but out of the race.
We're sitting.
Huh, Colt gonna be second out? See, who do you suppose ran in the back of the 9?
Didn't notice.
You see, we don't know who. That might be an 8th car involved because he obviously has some damage, you know. Who's that? Oh, that's Purvis they're working on back there.
Oh, good. Yeah, we never have seen that. Okay. Bill Weber. Okay, yep.
Lots of activity coming up here at the World Center of Racing after Speed Week 1996 on week 29. This is the first opportunity
In just a moment, we'll be going back green in the Goody's 300 Busch Grand National race here at Daytona. Here's the reason for the caution.
Jason Keller in the middle alongside, that's Hutch Strickland in the red car on the outside, Michael Waltrip on the white car on the inside. And watch as he makes contact with the wall. And here comes Todd Bodine in the blue car. No place to go except in the side of Jason Keller. And then the wreck just continues to go on.
Doug Heverin nearly overturning as he made contact with Keller.
And watch, we see Andy Hillenberg, Kevin LePage go back and bam, the rear and the front in the inside wall as he tried to dodge the accident.
Boy, the good news is that everybody apparently is okay, and included in that group is Jason Keller. We're glad to see that he is okay. Here's Bill Weber.
Jason Keller's just come out of the infield medical center. You're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, it's just a shame that it had to happen that early. You know, it's just I'd like to say that's racing, but that's the Cup guys racing in the Busch Series. It sometimes happens like that. And
what happened, Jason?
A couple of Cup guys stuck by me down the back straightaway. We're running side by side, and I guess they don't take it near as cautious as we do. And it's a shame because I thought one of those Cup guys were a real good buddy of mine, but I don't guess you don't have any buddies on the racetrack.
Jason Keller, he's okay, but out of the race.
And the race is back under green on lap number 28 with Rodney Combs continuing to show the way. Mike McLaughlin is in second position. Chad Little has moved up to third. Jerry, this move by Chad Little is looking pretty good here.
Bob, he didn't have to pit that time because he'd been in on the previous caution flag. But remember we told you they thought they had an ignition problem. The car was sputtering and missing and not coming up to temperature. The reason it wasn't coming up to temperature, he only had 7 cylinders firing. They found the plug wire off, put the plug wire on, and imagine what a V8 will do when you put it in competition versus a 7-cylinder.
We don't have many 7-cylinders running in this division.
Not competitively.
That's David Green, the 95 car, the CAT car, a new driver in that vehicle this year. There's Tracy Leslie in the green 11 car, I should say.
Johnny Rumley is his black car back here running in 6th place. And Joe Nemechek is right behind him as they form the single file drafting line.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm glad to see Chad Little run up front, especially since he's in a 96 Pontiac. He hasn't been in a lot of races yet, and to see a Pontiac run up front's good for me.
Yep.
How come the King doesn't have a Pontiac in the Busch Grand National? That's a Chevrolet Monte Carlo that Rodney is driving.
I think he's pretty much spread out. If you look at it, he's got a Chevrolet in the Busch Series, a Pontiac in the Winston Cup Series, and a Dodge pickup in the Super Truck Series. So if anybody's got an Edsel out there, anything they want him to run, I'm sure he'll look for a division for that one.
Bill Weber has an update on McLaughlin, who's running second.
Well, Mike McLaughlin didn't want to pit because if he came in, he felt he'd get trapped behind a bunch of traffic. Then as he passed the pit entrance, he looked at his rear view mirror. He's charging into the lead, but when he went past pit road, he looked at his rear view mirror, saw everybody coming in and went, uh-oh. Now the plan is for the 34 and the 43 to pit together on lap 50 if the race stays green. Right now, the 34 and 23 battling for position.
They are battling side by side for the lead up in turn number 3.
This is a Cracker Barrel in-car camera with Tracy Leslie, and we see them all lining up now, 2 and 3 abreast.
17 cars are packed tightly together.
Wow.
And still no clear-cut leader here, McLaughlin and Chad Little. And Dale Jarrett is right in the middle of things.
I mean, square in the middle of things. There's Jimmy Spencer going by now. Dale Jarrett decides he's going to try to make it 3 abreast.
Going underneath Johnny Rumley.
You got to remember the Winston Cup guys that are in this race, and especially guys like Dale Jarrett. They've already been in numerous practice sessions this week and 2 or 3 races, so they know they can make it 2 or 3 wide, and they know they can do it comfortably.
McLaughlin has a lead. Combs second.
Wow. These cars traveling at 190 miles per hour, folks, and you see, if something happens, you just cannot stop these cars. If there's a wreck in front of you, you're in the wreck. There's just no dodging it. There's Jeff Fuller in the 47, the Sunoco car.
Fuller making a nice move. That's Jimmy Spencer there on the bottom of the white 20.
Spencer just blows by Derek Cope.
He comes to 5th. Hut Strickland is off the pace down the backstretch.
Jeff's car is barely running.
This is Tracy Leslie's roof cam. There's Little going to the low side of the racetrack.
We see Chad Little has lost several positions. He was third just a moment ago. He's now credited with 11th spot.
Steve Grissom in 29. Jerry, what's wrong with Hut Strickland?
Apparently a flat left rear tire on the Smoky Mountain shoe machine for Hut Strickland. He started 11th, was running awfully well, and got a vibration. And before he could even cue the radio, the tire began to go down, so he will make a pit stop and come down under the green and obviously lose at least one lap.
Yeah, he's about to lose one right now because he's on pit road and the field is at the stripe. Jimmy Spencer has moved to 5th. As Hut makes the stop. On top of Jimmy Spencer, that's Jeff Fuller ahead.
Looks like McLaughlin's been shoveled back to 3rd place as Rodney Combs takes the lead. Nemechek follows in 2nd spot. There comes Jeff Fuller on the inside. McLaughlin and Fuller raced for so many years in those modifieds. And Spencer, all 3 of these guys, ex-modified drivers.
Good point, Benny. All 3 of these guys used to race in the Northeast and modifieds. And Fuller is pretty much hung out here.
They're going to say, see you, Jeff.
And Mark Martin has come up to join the fray as he is now in 6th position. That's the black number 60, driven by Mark Martin. We'll take a break with 86 laps to go in the Goodies 300. We'll be right back. You know, I'm very glad that there are people out there that want to do this and entertain people like me. There ain't nothing better than this.
Wow, who is that blowing by Fuller?
It's a Band-Aid car. That's Dale.
Dale.
I thought Spencer was up under him, and all of a sudden they went away and come back to the camera shot, and it was Dale.
Of him.
Okay.
Not going to be, it already is. Hey, Kyle, when Michael said, when Mike Wells, the producer, said speed shot coming up, you might as well not say anything because nobody can hear you.
Clear.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay.
25 cars in that draft, Kyle.
25?
Yeah.
It looks like practice has looked all week.
The action continues at Daytona in the Goodies 300 an hour. Overhead shots are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. At the controls, Captains Richard Daniels and Dan Thomas, both from Pompano Beach, Florida. Thanks, guys, for the overheads of the Goodies 300. 25 cars more or less involved in the lead draft. And there are 3 out front, and from there on back, it's anybody's race.
Here we see Mark Martin just turn under the 34 car, Mike McLaughlin, and go by. And I would think that McLaughlin not pitting, his tires are getting a little bit warm, and his car's not handling as good as some of these cars. Wouldn't you think, Kyle?
You would think so, you know, and it probably is as far as that goes. But the other car that didn't pit, the 43 car, is still running out front. We hadn't said that much about Rockin' Rodney, but he's still checking out on him, you know. So I'm sure McLaughlin's car is a little bit loose and a little bit edgy, but it's got a motor in it, because if he stays on that outside line, he just stays out there and pulls that outside line.
Here's a field summary. Watch for your favorite driver. The numbers in parentheses indicate where that particular driver started the race. Fuller has moved up from 25th to 12th.
There's Markham, Grissom, and Phil Parsons on the inside. That's Phil in the 10, the channel lock car. And they're all trying to get by McLaughlin. Lined up, and looks like McLaughlin might be in trouble. One of them goes by. Grissom tries to go by. There we see they've hung Phil out now. Those cars pull up in front of McLaughlin. Now the outside line will probably drive back by.
Derek Cope, though, has joined Phil down there. Jerry Punch has a report from the pit area.
This is Hut Strickland's left rear tire. Now, with the naked eye, it would be hard to see the cut. But I'm going to circle it here, and I'm going to tell you that whenever he hit was so sharp, looks like a razor blade. Take a look at the cut here as we open the tire up. See there where it just sliced into the tire? But if I fold it back, you can hardly see it. But once the Goodyear engineers came over, you could see readily, apparently, he cut something very, very sharp metal, cut the tire, and that cost him a lap, well, 2 laps actually, on the racetrack. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
And Doug Hevron was loaded by stretcher into an ambulance, but it's just precautionary. Larry Beluski from the Speedway staff told me that he's fine. He did have a neck brace on. They're going to take him to a hospital for precautionary x-rays. Has a small lump on the back of his neck, but again, the Speedway staff telling us he's fine. This is just a precautionary trip to the hospital. Kevin LePage apparently is fine. In fact, he snuck out of the medical center, but he's okay, just very disappointed.
And the positions are changing up front. Rodney's still hanging on to the lead, but Spencer has come to second. It looks like that
Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, and Nemechek is the one that got hung out there for a moment in the 87.
That's Jarrett in third, and Mark Martin trying to take over that 4th spot along with Steve Grissom.
This is Spencer's root cam, and he wants the lead. He started 29th. He's right behind the leader, Rodney Combs.
Oh, McLaughlin turns sideways, coming off the trollable.
A big wreck. Nemechek is involved. Hut Strickland survived.
Michael Waltrip was in the crash, so I see Derek Cope is in the crash.
There's McLaughlin. Still rolling, but headed toward the apron of the racetrack.
And there's Michael Waltrip driving away. No, that wasn't Michael. That was the 18 car, I believe. Michael, you're going the wrong way, buddy.
Here it is again.
There's McLaughlin on the inside right next to
Nemechek.
He just gets the car loose. When he saves it, he comes up, hits Nemechek, and both those cars spin. LaJoie just seems to drive right through it.
There's Michael up in the air right here in the corner.
Yep.
Goes back across the racetrack.
Here's another angle.
And there we see Derek Cope try to dodge the wreck and just turn his car sideways and spin.
There you saw Michael's car up on the wall and sliding across the track into the infield. Boy, the visibility is reduced to absolutely 0 when the tires start smoking.
Now we understand why 300 cars crashed in Italy in a fog.
Right.
Here comes the leaders. Now watch behind as Nemechek and McLaughlin spin. And look at Michael. He just forced in the outside wall. Up he goes across the racetrack. Michael had no place to go, did he, Kyle?
No place to go. If you saw the car right in front of Michael was the 23 of Chad Little, who comes to another wreck unscathed, it seems like, at Daytona. But he was right there. If it had been just a little bit more, it could have took out both of them. But it just ends up with Michael.
This is the blimp shot, of course.
There's Chad. There's Michael. Boom. Yep. There's Michael up on the wall.
Yep.
And there's Cope down on the inside. And there's Nemechek. He's the first car of the three cars that is spinning. Nemechek, Michael, and Derek Cope.
Tracy Leslie's in-car roof cam. Boy, he was a lucky boy, wasn't he?
Phil Parsons went on the inside as well.
Randy LaJoy. Like as close as he was, he may have gotten by unscathed.
Man, oh man.
Wow, here's Bill Weber.
And this is Mike's crew chief, Clyde. Obviously, it happened right in front of you. Your car's going to the garage. Your driver's okay. How'd you see it?
Yeah, Mike's fine. It's a shame. The Royal Oak Charcoal Jack Rule Barbasauce car was running real good, nice and comfortable, real fast. And a couple cars got side by side, I mean, with us, and it looked like air to me. They just both started to get drifting loose. All hell broke loose. I don't know what happened after that.
Been a great day, though.
Yeah, we lasted a little longer than usual. We'll be back at it next.
They're going to go try and fix it, get it back out. Remember, points, points, points at Daytona.
Scramble off pit road now. There's Joe Nemechek on your right, on the bottom of the screen.
They're making a pit stop like there's nothing wrong with the car, like they're going to continue out. And as usual, the tire has to roll across pit road.
We'll sort this all out and be back for a resumption of the Goodies 300 here at Daytona in just a moment. Stay with us. Here we go again.
Right to left, it will give your car momentum, and you'll have momentum to go back by them. You need to ride this thing out a little bit further. We still got a long ways to go. Just going to have to be safe, but you don't need to get caught down that low side. The higher groove seems to run faster.
I know, just some of these guys scare me right to death.
Okay.
I'm following them. Know what I'm saying? I got one right in front of me.
You just need to be on the ball on this restart, and if you can get through the gears fast, you can get by him before you get to turn one.
This is Joe Bessie's right here. Thank you.
Around pit 24. Like I said, the Luxair car took the 4 6-lap tires, correct?
I suppose. I don't know about that yet.
Spencer.
I'll tell you, they've got them. Yeah, and if you don't want them to have them, we'll need to go get them. And like I said, the 47 cars here want 2 right-side stickers. But the deal they want to make is if they use them, they'll pay you for them. If not, they bring them back to you.
I'm on my way into the garage now.
Okay, tell them, we need to, give the boy an answer here just right quick.
No. No. Ever. There are no NASCAR divisions that run coilover shocks.
You think of sprint car racing?
Coilovers are ASA, Hooters Cup, All Pro. You are looking at the probably right front. Should be. And the spring, the shock. If you were on the other side of the car. Sometimes a lot. You've had Mark's had an angle a couple of times from the front of the car, back at it. We're from
no.
We're from like the frame rail shooting forward, aren't we? I think so.
I'm not really sure where that camera's at.
Okay, I didn't know whether to say anything or not. But now I can talk.
All you want to.
And I've been doing a lot of that.
Yes.
Michael's all right, wasn't he? That's him walking by the car, isn't he?
Okay. Yeah, he was. I heard him talking to Eli over the PA system anyhow.
That's him over by the car, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Does he own that car?
Yeah.
He's an owner?
Yeah, him and Ronnie Silver.
Yep. That didn't work out too good the first time that.
Is the light on? That pickup better get off the race, out of the apron down there.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway and our coverage of the Goody's 300. Join host Kenny Mayne on RPM today for all the Daytona 500 pre-race activities and in-depth looks at defending Winston Cup champion Jeff Gordon, 7-time series champion Dale Earnhardt, and 2-time defending 500 winner Sterling Marlin. That's RPM today at 11 a.m. tomorrow on ESPN2. Then, don't miss the race highlights and hear from the winner on RPM tonight at 6:30 tomorrow night. That's today and tonight tomorrow on the Deuce. Did you get that?
No, I didn't.
Well, just stay tuned. That's all I can tell you.
The glass cars involved in the crash: Mike McLaughlin, Michael Waltrip, Nemechek, Tim Bender in the 18, Derek Cope in the 26, Jeff Green in the 3, and Jeff Fuller in the 47 car.
And Jeff Green is still sitting in the pits as the field comes down for the green flag, and Jimmy Spencer is leader of the race. The first time he has ever led this event in his 6th attempt. He started 29th. Here's Jerry Punch.
They're still working on the Jeff Green car, having to change the entire right front brake and ball joint assembly. Let me show you what it's supposed to look like. This is what it looks like right here to the right. This is the entire front assembly. This is what's left of the hat, basically part of the rotor and the spacer plate where it was sheared away. And down here are the other parts, part of the spindle, and then part of the brakes here. You see where it's being pushed up in there? That's what's left of the right front brake assembly and spindle on the Jeff Green car. They're going to replace all that. Probably going to be here another 6 or 7 minutes. Going to cost them maybe 10, 12, 13 laps.
Here's a suspension cam.
This is Jimmy Spencer's car. The Zippo lighter and the Wagner brakes. And we can see the brake rotor does not light up like it does at Martinsville because Jimmy Spencer will not even touch the brakes going in the corner. We see the brake rotor right underneath the tire. That's...
Show me on the telestrator, BP, what you're talking about here.
Well, this area here is the brake rotor. That was sheared off the hub and the hat that holds it on the number 3 car, the Jeff Green car. And watch that shot go up and down.
Yeah, it's a lot rougher out there than it looks from the grandstand and from our TV pictures.
And that spring, you see, that is probably rated at about 3,000 pounds per inch it takes to collapse that spring.
It's bouncing up and down like a bed spring right now.
And you can see when the car gets to the back straightaway how it just smooths out like a boat in smooth water.
It's Jimmy Spencer, Dale Jarrett in the 32. Running 3rd is Mark Martin in number 60. 4th is Steve Grissom, and Green has rejoined the race in the 3 car. Dale Jarrett's roof cam. Field summary. Spencer started 29th. The shock does its job because that picture there is pretty steady.
And you can hear as they go down the backstretch, just never lifting off the gasoline. Steve Grissom on the inside of Larry Pearson. That's Grissom in the 29 car.
Randy LaJoie in the blue 74 was ahead of them.
The car sneaking in behind Grissom and Larry Pearson is the number 9 car of Joe Bessie that we saw spin through the grass backwards on the first wreck coming out of turn 4 here. And it's amazing that these cars can take that type of punishment, that they can spin, get out of shape, and they're still back up in there racing.
There's Nemechek back there as well. He was in the last caution. Oh, there's trouble. Pete Orr's around.
Another big wreck. This one in turn 2.
Is that Rodney Combs involved in that? Did I see Rodney spinning down there?
There's Lonnie Rush in the 94. Yep, you're right.
Hermie Sadler. He's involved. The hood of his car. That's the hood of his car. And Pete Orr, the Farmer's Choice fertilizer. Tracy Leslie getting out of his car, so evidently he's okay.
Leslie exits the car.
That was Nemechek. There's Lonnie Rush's car.
Pete Orr, and we'll take a look at what happened.
It looks like that the 9, well, Pete Orr goes in the corner and loses control. He goes back up the hill and makes oh, I'm sorry, that's Tracy Leslie. That's Tracy Leslie in the 11, and Pete Orr make contact and spin. And man, they just took all the options, didn't they, Cal?
Yeah, there's no, right here, if you're back 3 cars, there's no place. These guys on the bottom of the racetrack are doing good, but if you notice, the 2 cars that wrecked spun out of the way, these guys run into each other trying to get out of the way. You know, you've got guys checking up, you've got guys still in the gas, and there's no place for these guys to go. The apron's covered, the racetrack's covered, the grass is covered. All you can do is stop if you can.
So a little bit of fire there from one of the cars, and we also noticed that Phil Parsons was involved. Here's the blip shot. There's a contact between the 2 cars, and they just slide up and collect a lot more.
I mean, there's just no place to go. Now there's another pack of cars coming into the wreck.
And here is the second pack as they come through.
Who is that? There we see Phil Parsons. That's the 10, the channel lock car. He gets bumped from behind by Dennis Setzer. There's Lonnie Rush and
Terry Labonte's
car.
Yeah.
Terry Labonte, we saw the flash from.
Yeah.
Mike Dillon, the 72 car, was able to get by. Man.
Joe Bessie. Hermie Sadler. That's the second wreck that Hermie has been or almost been in today. And that was what started it all. Contact between the 11 of Leslie and the 88 of Pete Orr. Well, another cleanup job is at hand. The cleanup crews have been very, very busy today here in the Goodies 300. We've completed 53 of the 120 laps. That's one of the things that you mentioned.
One of the things I told you.
Every stock car driver.
The hood's going to come up. There it is.
Or you going to leave with the tires loose?
Leave the tires loose.
Okay, I'm going. Right back.
You need to help him, though. He doesn't know that. Help explain to him. Instead of getting pissed about it.
They were trying
All right, we're going to pick up a bunch right now. We didn't lose anything.
They were trying to sell tires over the radio a minute ago.
We know. We're just trying to get it so it don't happen again.
Okay. Good job.
Kyle, this has been a
It's
demolition
going to be a while
derby.
before we go green, and
Yeah,
the backstretch is covered with oil, so you guys got plenty of time to pull yourself together.
Joe Bessie, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's who they were talking. It was Bessie's. Okay.
Todd Bodine is out there. How in the world is he out there with that car?
Is he back out?
He's back out there.
These guys that just get them together. If you look, they're going to get points.
Yeah.
If you're just looking at a point deal, there's only 24. These guys are 1 and 2 laps down. Todd's 81.
Okay, I'm back.
24 laps down.
You want Goodyear blimp copy? What? I know.
What? No.
Sure would be nice to
yeah.
have a long
I
green
hit you.
here.
That's okay.
Goodyear blimp copy?
There's one over there I can watch.
Okay, I got it.
Rocky Rodney.
Yep.
Phil knocked Phil.
Yeah.
Man. Jeff Fuller. Good Lord, look at Nemechek's car.
Can hardly recognize
Nemechek hit hard. If you saw
Yeah.
the in-car camera from Hermie.
Yep.
I mean, when he came up, it just slammed the outside real hard.
Man, Fuller's car. Gee whiz.
Missing 2 right side tires up here.
All those guys okay? Everybody's okay down there?
Yes, sir.
Got a fire.
Where?
Underneath Orr's car.
These guys
It's
are
like they're
standing here watching.
Yeah, they're just standing there watching it burn.
Good gracious.
What they've done, they've drug it in and it's sparked.
How you doing, Gene?
Okay,
need
Joe,
a little assistance on this deal
help you
here.
a lot. I mean, what I'm saying is down
That
the
thing's
short
gonna
sheet,
burn down.
turn 1, you're nothing but a glare. And I
'Cause that
can't
fuel's
find
running
you
out
a
of
lot of
it.
times on the racetrack, just the way the
See
things
it?
are. Really have to stay on top
They
of
put
your
it out
car
and it keeps running
to
out.
find where you're at.
They need to drop the car down
Difficult.
and drag it
you're
away
doing a
from
good job. Circumstances the way they have been today, I mean, you just got to stay out of trouble. That's what you're doing. So we still got a ways to go before we need to go racing.
Big fire going.
They're going to burn the record up. Let the thing down.
That car is going to burn down until they get the fuel
I got
out
a
of
car
it.
on fire down here going on the pit road, and it's still going to be a little while. They're having problems with this thing.
Phil's got the front end back knocked off of his ride.
Yep.
Still in the lead lap.
She's still in the lead lap?
Yeah.
Well, doggone. As long as it's still rolling, I guess it's still burning?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
It's full of fuel.
Yeah.
And it's got to be just running out of the fuel can.
They've drug a hole in the fuel can, haven't they?
Yeah. They've drug a hole in the fuel can and they sparked it and it set it off, and now they've stopped and it's sitting there running out on fire.
Just feeding itself.
It's feeding itself. I'm telling you, there's no way it could just keep burning like that.
Is that water they're squirting on? Yeah. Now they take off and drag it again, they'll
get her to flame up again.
Folks, it ain't fun if you're listening on the satellite dish, but I mean, we've got to give our opinion because
You feel bad. You wreck a car, and then the wrecker crew burns it down, bringing it in.
Insult
Joe,
to
when this
injury.
thing goes to green, I mean, you see what's in front of you. You just got to be real careful now. I mean, they've torn out they tore up a bunch of good cars here. There's only about probably 6 or 7, 8 left good cars. The rest of them are all so-so.
10-4, go down and talk to Birdie and tell him we can work together and get by this jump. There's about 2 stalls down from you.
Joe Bessie's bunch.
Joe, the 15 car in the restart is down a cylinder. They say go to the outside of them.
They're struck it in.
Leaving a trail.
But I mean, you'll have to make the decision once you come up to him what he's doing, because he's a rookie. He probably won't know.
That guy sounds too educated for you.
No. Yeah, there's
God,
the checks in.
What he is
Same one as he had hard.
Good, buddy. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
It's going. All right.
Good to see you.
No, I'm going home, man. As soon as I can get out of this joint.
Hey, Mark Quinzel, that's for you, baby.
How come Quinzel gets it on a satellite dish? How come he don't have to watch a program?
How come he doesn't have to come down here and join us? Mark,
Hi,
we
Mark.
wish you were here.
Hello.
Lost is an Easter egg, ain't you, Mark? Spencer got Zippo on his car.
Uh-huh. It's a Pennsylvania company.
Is it?
Yeah.
You know, the cars are out there. Let's see. Wonder how many. We know the 26 is spun.
How many cars haven't been involved in a wreck, huh?
The 3 cars had trouble. 51 cars got damage to the left rear. What's Rocky and Rodney's trouble? Was he in that wreck?
He was in that wreck.
Was he?
Oh, yeah.
I think he was down on the apron coming through it.
He's still on his lead lap.
And the 44 must have been in it or got something, because he's been in 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
Bobby.
must have. Hey, Weber. Mr. Weber.
Present.
Are you at the hospital?
No, I'm in Spencer's pit.
Wonder if Nemechek and all those guys are all right.
I can go over there. Jimmy, here's the deal on Spencer, okay, in case I leave. Okay, they wanted him to come in. He told them just before they got to pit road he's not coming in. So they talked about it back and forth, and finally the driver said, I'm not coming in, and then the crew chief said, why don't you stay out? They pitted on lap 25. They can go 50 to 55 laps. Anything after 70 will take them to the end. If they do pit under green, it'll be right side tires and fuel only. Spencer blew a motor in the first practice, had no sponsorship when he got down here, made the field, and got those sponsors on the side of his car and the in-car camera when Mike Wallace failed to make the field. Back to you in the booth.
Thanks for that report, Bill.
Nemechek really hit the wall hard.
Yeah, Nemechek's okay, VP.
He is? Okay, good.
Yeah, I talked to the crew. He's fine.
Okay, good.
The car's useless, but he's fine. Rock and Rodney's got toe-in problems.
Yeah. I got to push this to talk.
Yeah, to talk to Neil. Take yourself off the air. One to go.
Oh, Wrecker's going to get run over.
We're going to do the blimp. All right. Right. Beautiful overhead shot of now a full infield of RVs and campers getting set for more racing here at Daytona, and the Goodyear blimps are now in their 4th decade of live sports coverage. Overhead, the Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida, and the best of Leo Mel.
What's the deal on the Gatorade money? Do you know, Slob?
Okay.
You know what the deal is on the Gatorade deal? Yeah. See how much money it is and how many laps are on the green you got to run and all that stuff?
Mr. Glenn Allen Jr. from Cincinnati, Ohio, down on the Mississippi River, right, Benny?
Yeah.
Now we got one to go, and when they come down to take the flag, it will be the halfway point. The infield is now full of RVs and campers for the racing here this week and this weekend. And the Goodyear blimps are now in their 4th decade of live sports coverage. Overhead, the Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida. I'd like to wish our best to Leo Mel, the director of racing for Goodyear, who says he wants to spend some time with the family, so he's retiring at on March 1st.
And he has been in that position, I think, ever since I've been involved in racing in NASCAR. At least that was in 1970. Leo Mel has been the boss of Goodyear Racing.
And a good guy, and he will be sorely missed.
But Stu Grant, the fellow that's taken his job, has been in that with the racing team for a long, long time.
You see 24 cars are on the lead lap as we show you the field summary. Amazingly, only 7 cars listed out of the race, but numerous cars have had problems or been involved in wrecks.
And now we can add Glenn Allen Jr. in the Luxair car as another car out of the event because he's just been pushed behind the wall. That accident we just saw, the 94, 11, 1, 10, 43, 90, we said 94 already. Pete Orr, the 5 car, Terry Labonte, the 88 car, Pete Orr, 5, Terry Labonte, Nemechek in 87, Jeff Fuller in 47, and Dennis Setzer. All those cars with severe damage in that last crash.
But all drivers are okay as it's set for the restart, and as they come down and cross the line, the race reaches its halfway point. 60 laps are in, 60 to go, and the Goody's 300 with Jimmy Spencer, Chad Little running in 1st and 2nd position as they fan out and head for turn number 1.
That's Hut Strickland in the 28 car. He's a lap down, trying his best to get a lap back up on the outside. Could not get in front of Spencer. That was the halfway lap that we just took the green on. But if Spencer can stay in front for 5 laps, he will pick up the Gatorade $2,000 award as the leader at the halfway point. In the black 03.
Yellow flag is out for debris on the racetrack. You're right, Benny. Running in 3rd position is the 03 car of David Bonnet. He's that black car running down there below Hut Strickland.
And we can see that these cars really aren't slowing down that much as they race back to the caution flag.
There's David Bonnet in 03. And the Restore Chevrolet.
Spencer still leads. We see Hut Strickland, the 28 car, trying to catch these fellas and get back in front and try to get a lap back. Cannot do it.
Caution comes out once again for debris on the racetrack. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry, Jack. What? What was he oh no for?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
$115.
Okay. There goes the 115 US Airline. 10-2, 5-2. Okay.
What didn't we have a while ago?
I don't know. He's coming in. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Good Lord. How's the room in there for him and Chad?
I don't know. That's what I was just thinking.
The infield is full here at Daytona with all the racing going on this weekend, and the Goodyear blimps are now in their 4th decade of live sports coverage. Overhead, the Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida, and a salute to Leo Mel, who has announced his retirement as Worldwide Director of Racing for the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company.
Leo Mel is the only guy I've ever known that had that position with Goodyear, and I've been in this business since 1968 and using Goodyear tires.
Wants to spend more time with the family. Leo, the best in your retirement. Here's the field summary showing you that David Bonnet has moved up to 2nd position.
Chad Little had some problem with his right window, had to make a pit stop, and we still have 23 cars in the lead lap, although several of those cars with some pretty severe damage, including Phil Parsons in the 10 car.
Yeah, Chad Little was up in 2nd position, but during the caution, he came in to secure right side window. Here's Jerry Punch with more on that.
Chad had been involved in some of the incidents. In fact, had gotten hit in the door on both the inside and outside, and one of the clips that holds the window in place had broken. So what they did, they had a crew member dive in the car over Chad through the left side window and tie a bungee cord to the inside of the right side window down to the roll bar to hold it in place. Bob?
Green flag is out. At the completion of lap number 64, Jimmy Spencer is your leader in the white car on the right side of your screen. Right behind him in black, a very impressive performance by David Bonnet, the son of the late Neil Bonnet, who was killed here at this racetrack 2 years ago.
Curtis Markham in the 63 car is 3rd.
Joe Bessie, who's been involved in 2 of the 3 big crashes, is 4th, amazingly. And look at David Bonnet.
Going for the lead.
3 wide at the end of the backstretch. And Markham comes along with him.
Kyle, when do you reckon is the last time that a Bonnet led a race in Daytona?
I don't know. He's not the first, and I'm going to tell you what, he's going to lead a lot here if he keeps driving like this.
Wow, this is a very impressive performance by that young man. And the fans are standing and giving David the thumbs up.
It's pretty incredible. He started 35th today, and he's leading the race.
But he's about to lose the lead as there goes Joe Bessie and Randy LaJoy on the inside, hooked up with Mark Martin and Steve Grissom. That's the 4 cars on the inside. And say bye-bye, David.
Spencer is dropping back. Why, Bill?
Well, they talked about coming into pit during the last caution. Jimmy didn't want to. The crew wanted him to come in. The crew said, come in. Jimmy said, no, I'm not coming in. So the crew said, okay, stay out. They pitted on lap 25 and felt they could go about 50 to 55 laps, which means anytime after lap 70, they could come in and reach the finish on fuel. But now, without the tires, Jimmy Spencer out of the draft and falling back.
Randy LaJoy is the man at the point right now, or was. Let's see if Mark Martin takes the lead. He does, and Steve Grissom will come along behind him on the bottom side. And that's Dale Jarrett now coming to third. LaJoy continue to run side by side in the battle for third, and LaJoy goes high, up high.
Spencer goes by on the bottom. Here comes Bessie by on the bottom. From inside the Fina car of Randy LaJoy.
Dale Jarrett has his eyes set on the lead. He tries to get to the inside of Mark Martin, but can't do it. Joe Bessie comes to fourth, tries to, alongside Steve Grissom.
Grissom has the 2 cars behind him, so they should be able to draft by, and they do draft by Joe Bessie. There's Larry Pearson, 92.
Now can get back in line. He can't get in line right now. He's just having to hold what he's got. 10-4, just talk to him.
David Green, the cat car. On the outside of Bessie.
Mark Martin is the 9th leader of this race. 68 laps completed.
Now Grissom dives under Spencer and takes third spot away and leaves Spencer hung out to dry.
But Jimmy gets to the bottom after losing this spot. He's now 4th. And Joe Bessie is back there 5th.
This time by, the leader of the event will get a $2,000 bonus from Gatorade. It is at the halfway point, but that was at a caution flag. They have to run 5 laps under the green. Will Mark Martin pick up that $2 grand? Let's see.
Yes,
he will.
Martin the leader, but Jarrett going for it. He and Steve Grissom hook up at the bottom of the racetrack and blow right by Mark Martin as we watch from Jimmy Spencer's perspective, and he's looking for third.
And Randy LaJoy, the 74. Mark Martin was leading at the start-finish line. Coming off turn 2, he's running 4th.
Jarrett going for the lead. We'll see if they touched here, Benny.
They didn't touch, but he got the 60 car just a little bit loose.
Yep.
Took air off the spoiler, got him a little bit loose, and Mark might have to crack the throttle just a tick.
So it's Dale Jarrett now leading the Goodies 300 here at Daytona. Grissom running 2nd. Jimmy Spencer is 3rd. 4th is Mark Martin. 5th, Randy LaJoy. And now Steve Grissom has the lead. And Spencer comes along. Great race. We invite you to rejoin us in just a moment for more coverage of the Goodies 300 from Daytona. Yeah.
So Spencer not pitted?
Not pitted, but he's getting close. He's getting close to his time, I think. And he's going to have to.
Didn't you say lap 70 or something, Bill? Okay.
Yeah.
Purvis go up on top.
The problem are when there get to be fewer cars, there get to be fewer cautions.
Right.
He might be out of cautions.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. We'll do it in your pants. It'll be dry by the time the race is over. That's right.
Exactly.
What's WCW stand for?
World Championship Wrestling. I'm surprised you don't know that, Benny. You're going to have to start watching Monday Nitro. That's a great show. Mean Gene Okerlund and Bobby Heenan and
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Bobby the Brain.
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle's a watcher.
He's from Indianapolis. Used to hang around the radio stations in Indianapolis.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
Sting.
No, don't tell me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that he's here, and I'm not going to get to. Oh, man.
Sting is holding the pit board for Steve Grissom, and Lex Luger is helping in the pits.
Oh, man. Bring him up here after the race.
I'll get him to blow you a kiss in a minute, Bob.
He sure does. The Smoky Mountain is smoking. Benny described that as a non-tobacco product the other day.
Close enough.
Yeah. They got the gist.
They knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, herbal tobacco. Yeah.
Herbal. Okay, that's good.
Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Kyle Petty, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch back at Daytona International Speedway in the Goodies 300 as Speed Weeks 96 is winding down. But man, have we seen some great racing. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the lead draft with 6 cars hooked up.
Steve Grissom, Jimmy Spencer, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin. That's the top 4. Randy LaJoy is 5th.
And the 6th place car there is Larry Pearson. Chad Little is moving up. He's up to 10th place in the green and yellow number 23, the defending champion of this event. Rodney Combs is right behind him.
That's Derek Cope, the 3rd car in that draft. Comes another group of cars.
There's a lot of racetrack in front of him, though. He's got a long way to go to catch the lead draft. There they are. They're the top 6. That's a long line. Can those 3 guys draft up to this many cars?
It depends on just how fast that Chad Little is at this stage of the race. So far, he hasn't shown the speed to do that. That's not to say he can't, but so far, I don't think I've seen the speed of you, Kyle.
No, I haven't seen the speed out of Chad's car yet, but I will say in Winston Cup practice all week long, a 3-car draft has been the fastest drafts on the racetrack. You get to a 4-car draft, you do a 2-car draft, you do a 10-car draft, they're a lot slower. 3 cars can really run fast, and if Chad can pull them, they'll go.
See, that's very interesting.
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that.
That's why we pay him the big bucks.
Yes.
Chad has said all week long that his car drafts very well. We're going to see if indeed he's able to come up on this group of leaders.
The red car back in 6th spot is Jeff Purvis, the pole sitter. Remember, he made contact with the outside retaining wall, and he's 3 laps down now. But he has brought Curtis Markham in the 63 car, the Lysol and Larry Pearson up to the lead group.
Here's the AutoZone race recap. Steve Grissom has led 10 of the first 75 laps. We've had 11 lead changes, 5 caution flags for 23 laps, and the average speed is a little over 123 miles an hour. Lap leaders include Jimmy Spencer, Mike McLaughlin, Steve Grissom, Rodney Combs, and Jeff Purvis. Also, Mark Martin, David Bonnet, Randy LaJoy, Chad Little, and Dale Jarrett. And BP, we saw that there were only, what, 5 caution periods, but that certainly does not reflect the crashes that we have had and the number of cars that have had to drop out.
Yeah, the severity of the caution flags. We just had a huge caution just a few laps ago, and we're happy to report the hospital has been in touch. All the drivers have been checked out and released. They're okay.
And there are the last 2 cars that have dropped out of the race, Leslie and Fuller. On the racetrack, the war continues.
I'm going to tell you, the 4 car of Purvis, even though he's 3 or 4 laps down, may be the fastest car on the racetrack. He has drugged that 63 and those other ground right back up to take 5th and 6th positions.
This is Joe Bessie's in-car roof cam, actually. It's Randy LaJoy to the left in 74. Up ahead, Larry Pearson.
Spencer did not pit in that last caution flag. He chose to stay out, hoping for a caution flag to come out when he can make his pit stop. And I don't know how soon, but fairly soon he's going to have to do something. He's going to run out of gasoline.
We heard around lap 80, and we're on the 80th lap right now. This is Jimmy Spencer's perspective as he follows Grissom. He's watching the fuel pressure. Here's Dale Jarrett, who's right behind Jimmy.
The bad part about being out there like Spencer is right now is you're riding out there praying for a caution, knowing you need a caution. And when you run out of gas, you hope you run out of gas coming out of 4, so it won't take a lot of your time. Because if you run out of gas at the tri-oval or down here in turn 1, it's 2 miles back to the pits. And that's a long, helpless coast to get back over here.
We understand that Jimmy Spencer will be in next time by. We've completed 80 laps. They're on lap 81.
Let's see if he weighs us off like he's coming into pits this time. He may motion to Dale Jarrett to go to the outside. Dale goes to the inside. There's no way for Spencer to get in the pits.
Whoa,
check up and lose some ground.
Yeah, well, now he's going to get to the bottom. There's Purvis there on the inside of Mark Martin. Remember, Purvis is 3 laps down. He's not going to come in.
Just, hey, I don't want to I'm having too much fun out there, he said. As Phil Parsons with his damaged channel lock car goes a lap down.
He's 23rd, so we got 22 cars on the lead lap.
Heard Spencer back off a little bit. That's the first time I've heard anyone back off today. That's Dale Jarrett's Band-Aid car directly in front of Jim Spencer.
Does backing off for an instant save fuel, or does getting back on negate that?
That's right, exactly. Anytime you get back on the throttle, and Spencer now falls off. He's coming in the pits.
Finally, Jimmy Spencer drops low out of turn number 4, comes onto the apron, and is headed for pit road for a pit stop. Bill Weber will call this pit stop as Jimmy Spencer gives up a top 5 position to make the stop. Go, Bill.
Well, they wanted him in last lap. He didn't come in. They told him it was this time or we'll be in big trouble. He weaves his way down pit road. Right side tires and fuel only. This team gambled. They thought they could get to 80. They needed one more caution. They didn't get it. The team desperately working on the right side tires. This will be enough fuel to get them to the end. They don't want to lose a lap on the racetrack. Working on the right front. Fuel still going in. Still waiting on the fuel. Done with the tires. Spencer briefly stalls it, recaptures, and continues down pit road.
Now he's got to keep it under 65 miles an hour or he'll be penalized. He comes down pit road as the field blasts out of turn number 4 at 170 miles an hour.
They should just pass him because it's tough. When you're sitting on pit road trying to catch the pack and trying to catch the draft, I have the spotters tell me when the pack goes in 3 and I leave pit road.
And he was too fast on pit road, and Spencer is going to have to come in for a penalty.
Oh,
can you believe that?
Man, oh, man.
He probably just waited, run the speed limit until they do you in sections. NASCAR does you in sections, and if you can do it, you want to speed up that last little section to jump out and get a good run at the racetrack, and you'll speed up right there. I did it 3 times in a row last year at Wilkesboro, and they got me 3 times in a row, so they'll get you.
Oh, man! Grissom and Spencer almost makes contact. Did you see that? Man, oh, man.
Jimmy going a lap down, but remember, he'll have to come in. There's the NASCAR official that will observe the penalty. Jimmy has fallen in 3rd in line here. He shows no sign of coming in. Black flag is once again being displayed to Jimmy Spencer. So it's Steve Grissom, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, Curtis Markham, and Larry Pearson, the top 5 at the end of 84 laps. Okay. What? Good idea. Jimmy Spencer heeds the black flag. Here he comes down pit road for the penalty for speeding on pit road just a few minutes ago.
You got to be very careful of that. And I mean, you've got to be very careful of what he just did. It's supposed to be a stop and go. That looked a little bit like a rolling stop to me, and I've got tickets for those to prove it too.
Now you can't accelerate. You get
past this.
Now he can accelerate.
Yeah, you can't accelerate. You're not supposed to accelerate until you get past the very last pit, and then you can accelerate up from the speed limit.
And also that yellow line there, you can't get all 4 tires above it, right?
Yeah, you're not supposed to. There's a lot of different pit road rules, and I don't understand all of them, obviously, by the amount of times that I've been brought in.
All right, let's concentrate back up front. Grissom, Jarrett, Mark Martin, Markham, and Pearson. And in the mix also there, the 3rd car in line is Jeff Purvis, who is 3 laps down in 24th.
Dale Jarrett tries his best to close up on the back bumper of the Steve Grissom WCW. What does WCW stand for?
World Championship Wrestling, Benny. Well, now you can really drive on the information superhighway NASCAR online at www.nascar.com, the official site for NASCAR on the internet. You get all the statistics, schedules, biographical information, qualifying, actual race data as it becomes available, and there are also live chat sessions every week with the drivers, crew chiefs, and team owners. NASCAR Online.
And there we see Dale Jarrett and Steve Grissom and a lot of cars in that lead draft as Mark Martin goes by along with Curtis Markham.
Passing the 4 car of Purvis, who is not on the lead lap, as we've mentioned. Mark Martin goes to 3rd place in the black number 60, the black and yellow number 60.
Then the 2 blue cars, Curtis Markham is in front and Randy LaJoy in the back.
By the way, we talked about Chad a little earlier and how we wondered if he would be able to draft up. He's not having a whole lot of luck. He's still back in 10th position, but really no closer to the lead draft.
I tell you what, we talked about, you talked earlier about Purvis being so fast and catching that pack and dragging him. He drug him up to second, third place, right along in that. And then Purvis just pulled over and let him drive back past him. And NASCAR may have said, look, you're 2 or 3 laps down, leave these guys alone, let them race for position.
63 car, Curtis Markham off the pace. Looks like he's coming in the pits.
He was 4th, but has dropped off the pace and is coming in. Here's another group of cars being led by the 55, Johnny Chapman.
That's Bobby Labonte in 44 car. Jeff Green at the tail end of that. That looks like the 18 car of Tim Bender, 3rd in that line.
Some of these cars that are in this pack have been in accidents today.
Yep. Here are the rookies and how they're doing. Tony Stewart, the open wheel standout, is 19th. Tim Bender 14th. Johnny Chapman 12th. Dillon 15th. Pete Orr's out of the race. Glenn Allen Jr. 32nd. By the way, Tim Bender picked up some sponsorship just this morning on that car. That's the Earl's Performance Ford.
And the 55 car is sponsored by the Cracker Barrel people.
Mike Dillon in the 72. That's Richard Childress' son-in-law?
That's correct. He's driving for Ron Parker this year in the Detroit gasket car. This is the one that Tracy Leslie drove in 1995. Dick Kangas is the crew chief, general manager of that team now, and he's very high on Mike Dillon. He's impressed so much with his driving ability so far.
Let's go back up front and see how things are going at the head of the field. It's still Steve Grissom leading the way with Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin running right behind. Then Randy LaJoie in 4th.
Got a Chevrolet, 2 Fords, and a Chevrolet.
Coming up to lap, Curtis Markham now, who's 19th. Markham, of course, made the pit stop just a few laps ago. Riding with Randy LaJoie.
David Bonnet just made a pit stop in the Restore car. We saw him lead a lap just a few laps ago.
We're on lap number 93 now, and Steve Grissom has led since lap number 71. Jerry and Bill will bring us up to date on pit strategy when we return to the Goodies 300. Bach bluster. Okay. More paper rattling here.
Did Markham change tires? Did Curtis Markham change tires when he pitted?
Lynn, the 63 car pit, changed tires. Just now? Rights only?
I didn't either.
I didn't see it.
I didn't either. He's kind of separated this pack because he's running beside Mark there.
Yeah, I got him hung out.
Yeah, the first 2 cars have got away, see?
Yep. Well, he stayed on the lead lap for almost 100. Yeah, 100
Did
laps.
good. Really good.
Clear.
Okay. Okay.
How we doing? How much time we got left, Mr. Goldberg? When are they going to start pitting?
Member?
Well, I mean, I just didn't want to start pitting while we were...
Before we told them when they were going to pit, right?
Exactly. That's exactly.
It's the Goodies 300 from Daytona International Speedway, and we would like to salute the Blockbuster Video Blimp and its crew. Steve Tomlin from London, England is at the controls once again. These people have been with us since we started covering the stock car portion of Speed Week, and they have done outstanding work. Thank you guys very much. Join ESPN for Big Monday, presented by Bud Light. 7:30, third-ranked Connecticut takes on 14th-ranked Georgetown, led by Allen Iverson. Then at 9:30, the Nebraska backcourt will try to stop the 5th-ranked Kansas. At midnight, it's a wild Western Athletic Conference shootout. Colorado State and the Lobos of New Mexico. Big Monday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Well, we promised you reports on pit strategy. Doc, what's the situation at your end?
Bob, starting with Randy LaJoie, who's running fourth. I checked with Steve Bird. They can make it no more than lap 103 on fuel. They're not getting very good fuel mileage, so the next 3 to 4 laps, we will see LaJoie come in. Now, up front, Steve Grissom pitted on lap 53. They're getting excellent fuel mileage. They can make it at least 53 laps, so expect them not to come in until lap 106. They'll be about 14 laps shy of the finish. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, I asked Mark Martin's crew chief, Bobby Leslie, can you make it to the end? He goes, heck no. And they were going to aim for lap 100. They were last in on lap 54. That's the same lap Dale Jarrett pitted on. So I asked his crew chief, John Irvin, can you make it to the end? And I can't tell you what he said, but talking to him just a few minutes ago, he said that they might make a run for it. Now, they've been negotiating back down here, the 32 and the 60, talking back and forth. I don't think they're going to pit together, but I think if anybody's going to roll the dice, I think it'll be John Irvin and Dale Jarrett. They might be able to make it, but boy, oh boy, they would really be stretching the old fuel mileage if they do.
Mike Dillon's in the pits. Jerry Punch is there.
First pit stop, Benny. The car's in the lead left. He was running in 12th spot. He changed 2 right side tires, filling full of fuel, and he is down and away to Detroit Gasket Chevy.
A couple of other cars are pitted while we watch him roll out. Tony Stewart, who just got lapped, is in. So is Jeremy May. There's Tony Stewart pulling out of the pits. He's done a clean job so far this afternoon and is running in 16th position.
And Tim Bender, one of the leading rookies in the 18 car, the Aero Performance car, pitted just a few laps ago. NASCAR penalized him for running too fast on pit road. Black flag. He had to come back in. He'll lose another lap. Here's a leader, just not going to be long until we're going to see pit stops.
100 laps completed, 20 to go. We're riding with Randy LaJoie.
This is when you're really nervous. You don't want to make a pit stop too soon. You make a pit stop, the caution comes out, you're the odd man out. Those guys are still racing for the win, and you're racing a lap down. So these guys want to try to pit together for a couple of reasons. Not to pit too soon to get caught with a caution, and they want somebody to run with when they come in.
One of the Busch Grand National North drivers, Jamie Obey, car number 41, completes his pit stop and pulls back into the race. He's running in 16th position, a lap down. And now going 2 laps down as he gets up to speed. Hermie Sadler has been on pit road for quite a while, and now he begins to pull away. Hut Strickland comes in, and so does Jeremy Mayfield once again. That's an odd-looking race car, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Doesn't have a front end. Jeremy Mayfield was in the pits because he was speeding the last time and got caught.
NASCAR is watching him closely here, insisting they stay below 65. Derek Cope is in.
Jerry Punch is down in Hut's pit, Jerry.
Well, this was not a scheduled pit stop, but he came in again because he has a cut left rear tire. Apparently the rear end of the car is shifting back and forth, and the tire is actually coming out and being cut by the fender. So the Herbal 2 car not doing real well. Herb's not having a good day.
running 26th, 6 laps down. Hud Strickland is.
And they're trying to figure out exactly why that situation is that Jerry Punch was talking about.
It isn't going to be long before these guys have to come in for a pit stop. We'll take a quick break and be back with more from Daytona right after this. The question is, when will those running up front begin to pit? Here comes Randy LaJoie. He's signaling behind him that he is dropping out of the lead draft and coming in for his final pit stop.
Downshift in second gear. Kyle, the reason he gets to second gear because he's got to read the tack in that gear.
You have to read the tack. That's the only thing. These cars have no speedometers. You have to know what RPMs you have to be at. On a Winston Cup car with the gears and the motors that we're running, it's about 3,800 RPMs in second gear. That's where he wants to be at.
Randy is pitted way down toward turn number 1, so it's a long way down there. He finally arrives. Here's Jerry.
And they will fuel the car and change left side tires only. No right side tire change. Steve Bird, the crew chief. This is the same team that won the championship last year with Johnny Benson driving the car. Remember, LaJoie has never won a super speedway race. In fact, has never won a Busch South race. His car down and away after left side tires only.
17-second pit stop for LaJoie as he goes back out onto the racetrack. And the leaders are coming up to put a lap on him. But remember, those up front are also going to have to come in before too long. That's Steve Grissom. Dale Jarrett running second.
Now then, some of these cars will just put a little bit of fuel, or like 1 can of fuel in that car and not change tires.
Larry Pearson is in. Here's Bill.
And they bring the Stanley Tool Chevrolet onto pit road, and quickly he's away. They wanted to pit with Purvis, the 4 car, so they'd have a drafting partner, and back to the track.
He was running 10th when he came in for his stop.
And here comes the leader off the tri-oval. Still have not pitted. Grissom, Jarrett, Martin, Bessie. And the 63 car of Markham.
There's a 95 of David Green. He's making the final pit stop. No tires for this stop, just some fuel, and away he goes.
Need a gas man that can run about 60 miles an hour and can chase that car down pit road.
That would be rollerblades.
Huh?
Put him on rollerblades and let him just slide beside it. Larry Pearson and those guys had a really, really good pit stop because they were running 9th or 10th and came out in front of the leaders. And I'm not sure they're still in front of the leaders. They're still right now in front of them.
Still no sign. They stay out there, the front 4. As you can see on your scoring pylon, all this has moved the 23 car of Little up to 5th. Here's Jerry.
Benny, you're talking about needing good athletes on this final pit stop. Well, Grissom's sponsor is the World Championship Wrestling. They've got Sting holding the pit board, and Lex Luger, the massive Lex Luger here in the pits, helping on pit road. Could get better athletes than that. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, Mark Martin's going to need fuel. He's going to have to stop. In fact, they thought he was going to stop with a 32, that they were going to team up and coming together. In fact, they were all set to do that, and John Irvindale, Jarrett's crew chief, said, we're not going to do it. Mark Martin tried to get into pit road and then couldn't make it. Nearly a wreck down there, so Martin loses valuable space on the track, cannot get to pit road, and the race continues.
And he's out of gasoline. He's out of gas. Mark tried to get on pit road. The 38 car of Setzer was there, a wrecked car. He pulled in front of it, and I do believe he ran out of gas. Didn't he, Kyle?
It looked like he did. He got hit pretty good in the rear. He looks like he's built back up to speed here a little bit, but he got hit pretty hard.
Wow, a tough break for Mark Martin, who was running 3rd and poised maybe for position to win this race. Here's what happened.
That's Setzer on the right side of the screen. Watch as Martin comes down, and Setzer will run in the back of him.
And Mark couldn't get slowed down, so he did not pit. And now Steve Grissom, the leader of the race, is coming in. And so is Martin. Here's Jerry Punch to call the stop by Steve.
65 miles an hour. Sandy Jones, the new crew chief for Gary and Carolyn Bechtel down here with Kenny Grissom, and he has made the call. Fuel only, no tires. Clean the front grill. Fuel only in the Grissom pits. Let's check in with Bill.
Go, go.
8 gallons of fuel for Mark Martin. He's away. He stalls the car. He has left side damage. They bang that out. He continues. Look out for traffic down there. He dodges. Chad Little returns to the race.
Joe Bessie's in the pits, the Delco Remy car. One of the front runners as Grissom goes back on the racetrack. Chad Little is in, the John Deere car, and he stalled it.
Joe Bessie, here's his stop.
But he's got to back up. The official told me
Oh.
And Chad's car won't start. They got to push him back. And he's got to wait 15 seconds. The official said, I'm going to time you for 15 seconds. And we...
Longest 15 seconds in the world right here.
That had to be 10 minutes, he said. But Joe, watch your speed.
What the hell are you servicing it for when it's beyond the pit stall? You know that.
Oh, look at him tear out of the pits. Chad Little is still in. They cannot get that car fired. He moved up to 5th position. Dale Jarrett hasn't pitted yet. Now he drops down and heads for the pits. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, John Irvin told me that Dale Jarrett was going to make it, that they were going to try and go without stopping for fuel, but that's not the case. The 32 car slowly coasts to the pits. They jam in the fuel can. It's gas only. They try and clean off the grill. Dale Jarrett slowly rolls away, doesn't want to break that speed limit.
That's a great pit stop. Here comes Steve Grissom off turn 4. I believe that Grissom and Dale Jarrett's going to be hooked up when it's all over and said and done with. 10 laps to go.
Man, what a conclusion we are set up for, folks. There they come. The leaders are coming through the frame. We'll be right back in just a moment from Daytona. Less than 10 laps to go in the Goody's 300 here at Daytona International Speedway. The final pit stops have now been made.
And Grissom is in 2nd place. Dale Jarrett did, in fact, beat him out by a couple of seconds.
And Jarrett has quite a bit of a lead right now.
But Grissom has Jimmy Spencer to draft with, and Spencer might be fast enough to drag him to Dale Jarrett.
A quick pit stop by Dale Jarrett has given him the lead. There is Grissom trying to catch up to the white car of Jimmy Spencer to see if Spencer can help him draft up to Dale Jarrett.
There's Jarrett.
And Bill Weber has more.
They still feel like they could have made it to the end without stopping, but Benny and Kyle, I think the situation came to them. Everybody else had stopped. They had nothing to lose, so they came in and got enough to ensure that they could reach the finish line.
And they've got a pretty comfortable lead if their car is fast enough to hold it.
If it's fast enough to hold it. If they felt like they could go to the end, they were in a win-win situation. These other guys knew they couldn't go. They were having to take 8 gallons of gas. They were having to take 6 gallons of gas. If Dale thought he could make it to the end, he only had to take a splash, and it shows up on the racetrack. They're all running together. He comes in, has a shorter pit stop, and it equates to that on the racetrack to a couple of 100 yards.
Well, he's never won this race. Dale Jarrett hasn't, but he finished 2nd in 1994. We'll be back with the conclusion of the Goody's 300 in just a moment. Dale Jarrett leads the Goody's 300 in the closing laps, and the blockbuster video blimp. We salute once again the blimp based in Orlando, Florida. We look forward to seeing them at other events this year that ESPN is at.
Okay, guys, 7 laps to go. 6 when they come by this time. And I believe Grissom is gaining on it, isn't he, Kyle? Looks to me like Grissom is gaining.
He's gaining a little bit, but it's just like you say. He's got help in front of him. He's got a little bit of help, got a little bit of draft to kind of suck him along and pull him along. And he may make a race out of this yet.
There's Grissom trying to catch up to Jarrett. And yes, definitely the interval is definitely decreasing.
And Spencer is still in the middle of the twosome. There we see Dale Jarrett, the leader on the left. Jimmy Spencer a lap down. That white car in the middle. And there comes Grissom in second place.
There's 2 things that can happen here. Spencer may pull the 29 card, pull Grissom back up there, and then drop out of line and say, okay, boys, go at it. And just drop out and be a non-factor. He was a factor by helping Grissom get back in the race, but it will get out of the race. Or he may just pull Grissom absolutely straight by Jarrett and on out of the thing. But you got to remember, it's Daytona. Catching somebody and passing somebody is 2 entirely different things.
Here they come. 5 to go. 5 to go this time.
Steve Grissom's best finish here was 10th in 92. Here's a field summary showing you where your favorite driver is with less than 5 laps to go. 10 cars on the lead lap. There's Jimmy Spencer, who goes to the inside of Dale Jarrett. And Grissom is going to come along, isn't he? And take the lead? Yes, he did. Grissom takes the lead.
Now, can Dale Jarrett keep up? Can he draft? Looks like he can. As he closes back in on the back bumper of Steve Grissom.
So, Kyle, option number 2 that you gave us was the one that came into being, huh?
Evidently. And I tell you what, what's really strange about this, we talk about Saturday racing, we talk about Sunday racing. Here is Jimmy Spencer in a Chevrolet on Saturday, driving a Ford on Sunday, helping a Chevy driver on Saturday beat a Ford driver on Sunday. That's worse than Daytona's qualifying system.
3.5 laps to go. Steve Grissom now has the lead over Dale Jarrett. Jimmy Spencer, car number 20, is in the lead lap now in 11th position.
On the tail end of the lead lap, he would have to go around 2.5 miles to be in front of these cars.
$117 laps are completed. We've got 3 to go in the Goodies 300. There's John Irvin.
John Irvin telling Dale Jarrett what he would do if he was in that position to win the race. It sounds like that Dale Jarrett just simply has to run wide open to stay behind Steve Grissom.
Grissom won the Busch Grand Nationals championship in 1993. He has 10 wins to his credit.
And I tell you, the engine builder that builds this engine in the 29 car, they've had a tremendous amount of success at Daytona. That's B&R Engine down at Winston-Salem. Kenny Bingham and Ronnie Revis.
If you remember this race last year, Grissom's leading the race coming out of turn 4, and he checks up a little bit when the car gets loose. That's why they have the major pileup down there, and Chad Little wins the race. So Grissom has been in this position before at Daytona.
Less than 2 to go now.
Looks like Jarrett gets a run down the backstretch.
Looks like he got a good run that time. He's got less than a lap and a half to make the move if he can.
And Spencer moves over and lets him go.
Says, guys, go at it. Yep, it's your race.
That was a nice move by Jimmy Spencer.
It sure was. So
that was
here,
a very good move.
Here come the 2 out of corner number 4 and get the white flag. Will it be Steve Grissom? Will it be Dale Jarrett in the Goodies 300 in 1996? We're on the last lap.
Shows a lot of class on Jimmy Spencer's part to do that.
Dale got a good run right here, last lap. About a car length between the 2 as they head for the end of the backstretch and into turn 3. Jarrett is going to go high, and Spencer may go with him up there, but Grissom slides up the racetrack and provides the block momentarily. It's coming down to the checkered flag. Who's going to win it? It is Steve Grissom and Dale Jarrett. And Grissom wins by a car length and a half. Meanwhile, there are other battles on the racetrack.
The 92 car, Larry Pearson, the standing car, the last off 4 position. It's Pearson and then Curtis Markham.
Pearson had a great pit stop that put him in that position.
He will take 4th place. Martin will finish 3rd.
So it's Steve Grissom who has driven to victory in the Goodies 300 here at Daytona. We'll be back to talk with him in a moment. Good job, Kyle. Have a good one tomorrow. And the WCW wins a big one. They body slam the rest of them. I'm telling you.
My job, Steve.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Look at that shot going into victory lane. What's the...
Okay. Okay. There's a push race on Saturday, right?
Yep.
Okay.
These same cars.
What a neat guy. Okay, that's no problem.
Steve, stay in the car, sir. Okay. We're ready. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hey, Larry. We're ready. Larry, Neil's got to get this interview in. Let him.
ESPN Speed World coverage of the Goodies 300 is being brought to you by the more than 1,225 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By TM8 engine treatment from Valvoline, because driving is more stop than go. And by the NASCAR Story. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR. Here's Jerry Punch.
Steve Grissom getting set to climb out of the winning Chevrolet in victory lane, having won the 38th annual Goodies 300, and gets a huge dousing from the crew members. And Steve, congratulations on surviving today. What a wild scramble out there.
Man, I tell you, it was super. I just can't say enough for the guys on the team, man. I mean, they prepared a great car. Kenny Beamson, Ronnie Revis, I mean, we had a rocket ship for a motor. And, I mean, from the first time on the racetrack Monday morning, the car run super good then. And we had a good qualifying effort. And, you know, thank God for a safe race. I tell you what, it's all right.
Steve Grissom, 1993 Series champion, wins the first one here in 96. Bob?
Here are the unofficial results of the Goodies 300 here today, with 9 cars finishing on the lead lap. We had 3 pretty big crashes. Everybody's okay, and what a thrilling finish to this one, Benny.
It was a fantastic finish. And we see Johnny Rumney back in 16th. Phil Parsons 3 laps down in 24th. Not the way you wanted to finish speed weeks.
That's for sure. Boy, it's been a great time down here as we have brought you so many hours of coverage, but we had a ball, and we hope that you enjoyed every minute of it. Shop Talk is coming up next here on ESPN. Don't forget, these same cars will be in Richmond, and we will be in Richmond for the Busch Race and the Winston Cup as we return there after an absence of many years. Thanks to Kyle Petty, Benny Parsons, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch. This is Bob Jenkins. So long, everyone.
Stand by, Bob. I'm going to have you do the results again. 55 seconds. Please get him, please. Remember releasing him.
Okay, I'm ready. Yeah. Okay, so we're picking it up after the interview. Okay, Benny's not in here, but let's see. I think I have that information, come to think of it. I guess. Okay, what is coming up next? Okay. So Steve Grissom records a victory here, and Benny, let's take a look at the unofficial results of this race. We had 3 big crashes, everybody's okay, and an exciting finish.
See Larry Pearson, the first of the Busch Grand National drivers with a 4th place finish. Jamie Obey, the highest finishing Busch Grand National North driver in 20th spot. Kevin LePage back in 45th.
Several of these cars were involved in one of the 3 big crashes that we had. Doug Hevron was taken across the street to the hospital, but he was not seriously injured. Well, coming up next here on ESPN, NFL's Greatest Moments, we remind you that we will be in Richmond in a couple of weeks for the Busch Grand National cars and the Winston Cup cars as we return there after many years' absence. For Benny Parsons, Kyle Petty, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch, this is Bob Jenkins from Daytona. So long, everyone.